Welcome to another episode of Shotgun Toy Reviews. We are two idiots with a camera and a toy. I am Toast, joined by Mr. Berg, and what are we looking at?
We are looking at Mafex number 146, The Dark Knight Returns Armored Batman, not whatever toy you thought it was.
Yeah, for some reason I thought you were bringing in Azrael. Mafex is also doing an Azrael. I forgot that they were making this one.
That's okay. Yeah. 5 Hammers, Toy of the Year. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe.
Well, I will start with Paint and Sculpt. And so far he looks awesome. Moving him around. These joints are very fluid.
Yeah. So,
should we talk about the cape first?
We can talk about the cape. We can talk about why. We can talk about whatever you want. That cape is awesome.
The cape is awesome. So it's wired. There's 2 wires just on the edges.
Yes.
It, I think, is a great length. There's a ton of folds, ton of fabric.
Yes.
You can get this into all sorts of poses.
Yeah, and it is attached through his armor.
Nice.
So I don't believe it's removable, and I'm not going to try.
I had to do a lot to replace this cape.
Right.
I don't recommend doing it. But, yeah, the cape looks awesome. I love this face.
Yes.
And there are fabric folds in the suit.
There's a little bit of color dry brushing in the fold on his legs. There is enough, for me, color breakup in the different shades of gray for his armor and the bright yellow belt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he looks good.
And he has the correct proportions of a Frank Miller Batman.
Oh, for sure. Do you want to talk about why?
I can, sure.
Sure.
So, in 1987, a young Mr. Berg went into Graham Cracker Comics of Naperville to buy, I can't remember what I was looking for that day. Probably Robotech or something. And I happened to notice under the crazy shaggy red stairs the cover to Dark Knight Returns number 4, which is the black silhouetted cover of Batman fighting Superman against like a fiery red sky.
It's a great cover.
And I just, to this day, I remember tripping balls like, what the fuck is that? That is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my goddamn life. And I picked that up. The clerk was like, oh yeah, that's the last issue of The Dark Knight Returns. Have you been reading that? And I'm like, what is this thing? And so I was able to buy 3 and 4 then. They were sold out of 1 and 2. And then I read, I lost my mind. It was the first time, besides Spider-Man's black costume, that, like, I figured out that superheroes could have different costumes.
Oh.
Back then, it used to be super rare. Like,
yeah.
If the new artist took over drawing Green Arrow, he still drew Green Arrow on model.
Yeah. And
every character had an on-model sheet, and he drew from that. And this armor suit was like the first time, besides Spider-Man, that I remember like, holy, what? Batman can wear like armor and he beat the crap out of Superman? Like, my stupid little brain couldn't understand the whole subtext of the shit that was going on, but like, when he has Oliver Queen shoot that arrow and he catches it,
it's so
and
good.
It explodes, and then he just like lays waste to Batman, telling him like, this is what it feels like. Oh my god. And since that day, I have wanted a toy of that Batman. And I've wanted a toy of that Batman that can move like he moves in that fucking comic.
Okay, because my why follow-up question is, you're usually the one to point out, oh, don't you already own the Mattel version of this?
So, they never made Dark Knight Returns figures, and then DC put out like the 20th anniversary set, which didn't have Armor Batman, and they were DC Direct, and they looked good, but they were very, very, very poor articulation. And then Mattel finally made it, and they put one out, and I was super, super happy, but he's kind of limited by the fact that he's a giant, bulky guy, and he's articulated, but he's not super articulated. Like, he has all the joints, because he's basically a He-Man body with armor on. So he has the joints, but because he's so bulky, he doesn't have a full range. So he's close. And then when Mezco was like, oh yeah, we're going to do 112 Dark Knight figures, I'm like, yes! They just made like blue costume, black costume, mutant leader. Like, what the fuck? Make this guy Mezco?
Yeah, no kidding.
Like, he's literally designed for your fucking goddamn toy line.
Yeah.
And then McFarlane's like, oh, we're going to make one. And he's like the most in proportion piece of... like, he didn't even look at the fucking art.
It's a weird toy. Because it's almost... It's not squat like it should be. He's tall. So it's almost like a comic melded with Ben Affleck. Like, that toy is bizarre.
Yeah, I bought the Ben Affleck piece of shit armored Batman hoping, and he was a piece of shit. It was a mistake. So yeah, I got this, and it is 95% exactly what I wanted.
Well, you've talked about articulation. We should show that off.
Yeah, he's Mafex. If you don't know, they make super articulated figures. So he does have, his head is on a couple joints. He has a torso diaphragm joint. He has a waist joint. He can bend over, bend back. At first, I thought he didn't have that much shoulder range, but he does have butterfly joints. It's hard to show. Like, boop.
Oh, wow.
And then these shoulder pads are on a double hinge system, so they can actually get out of the way so you can move his arm out.
Nice.
And so yeah, he still doesn't get a 90 degree angle, but I mean it's as good or as bad as the Mattel one.
Sure.
Ball jointed wrists. He has ball jointed. I mean, like, there you go. There's the kick I've wanted. Where he's kicking Superman like that.
Yep.
Punting his face. He's got double jointed knees, and the sculpt continues, so it doesn't look awful.
It's fantastic.
And then he's got super articulated feet, and he's even got toes. And while you're looking, there is no wane, so he finally learned when he got old. So yeah, he can do any pose. And then his cape, I mean, yeah. And I will point out, as I keep scratching myself, these are sharp and not soft.
Nice.
So I like that. But yeah, he moves. He's got tons of points of articulation. It has all got great range.
It's smooth and it holds.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Been waiting since 1987 for this guy.
Nice.
But yeah, he just... Yeah, I love the design of this double thing, because like when I first got him out of the box, I'm like, how is that? Like, he can't move. And then I'm like, oh, this whole shoulder piece, like, you can even like get it up totally out of the way. You can't even tell. Just tremendous. So he moves awesomely, and he can stand. Alright, as with all Mafex and its seemingly import toys of this kind, he comes with a bunch of accessories. So if you're not happy with your stern Batman face, he comes with a great head sculpt with angry Batman.
It does look fantastic.
And that just pops on and off. And just like in the comic, you can see that his chin underneath the helmet. Very happy. And in case you want to have him with his helmet off, he comes with Old Man Wayne portrait, which is also
amazing.
Almost perfectly Frank Miller-esque. I will point out, and this kind of bothers me, his lips or gums are more pink in the helmet. Like, I kind of want this jaw with that helmet.
Yeah.
It's not the worst, but
Is that the 5%?
that is part of the 5%.
Okay.
And then he comes with this thing, which I don't know what the hell it is.
I kind of remember.
I think it's the control for the explosion or something. The box is totally not helpful, because it just shows him holding it.
Yeah, the box is not helpful.
He holds fire thing. Speaking of holding things, he comes with 2 punching hands on, and he comes with the aforementioned gripping hand for that thing. Each hand is attached with a little bar so you don't lose them. This hand is when he blocks.
Nice.
And then he comes with a left and right splayed hands with the same armor paint sculpt job. The inside of the palms even have a gloss, like a little grippy section.
It's a really nice detail.
And then he comes with like relaxed hands. So if you just want to kind of have him chilling out, they also have the same paint detail. And then he comes with 2 trigger figures.
Is there something to trigger?
There is not, and that leads into that'll be one of my gripes.
Yeah.
It's why I wish this figure came out like 3 years ago, as opposed to Hush, stupid Hush. So he also comes with a clear base that has, again, multiple clip options and multiple points of articulation and 3 places to put your peg in. So if you need to have him jumping or punching or kicking, he can do that.
Are you going to 3D print a gun?
I'm totally going to 3D print a gun and a knife, because one of the things that was on that cover is he's holding a gun and a knife. So, yeah. I don't think we have any DC guys.
Somehow this guy becomes that guy.
Maybe he eats Aunt May's wheat cakes. Anyone wheat cakes? No?
Got that reference.
Thank you.
I think it's a great size. Fits in with other, obviously, Mafex, and Mafex go well together with Marvel Legends.
Yeah.
One foot test. Final thoughts.
Meow.
I'm gonna give it a 4 3/4 out of 5. I think it's nearly perfect. If it had the gun, it would be a 5.
Yeah.
But there is something missing from this, very noticeably. And if it had that, it would be perfect. It would have everything. The sculpt, the cape, everything is fantastic. The accessories are what you would want them to be. I love it. I love everything about it.
Yeah.
I just wish it had the gun.
And the knife.
Yes.
Spoilers. I'm going to go ahead and give him a 5 out of 5. The lipstick doesn't bother me that much because, will I notice it only when I have the Bruce Wayne head next to it?
Yeah, I think I didn't have a problem with it until the 2 heads were next to each other.
Yeah. And I am bothered that we didn't get the gun and the knife. I understand why. It's stupid. Stupid.
Yes.
But I'm not going to hold that against the toy.
But they might include it with a future release, because they've done that before.
Maybe? I don't know.
Kind of doubt it.
I doubt it too.
If the policy changes.
But the more I play with this, the more it is exactly what I wanted. Like, I'd go so far to say I'd I'd be tempted to buy it again if they released an all black version that just had like his eyes in white.
Like the cover.
Yeah, so I could just make that cover.
I kind of want one now.
As soon as we're done filming this, I'm going to go make sure that I did order Superman, because I don't remember having ordered Superman. But I also have the other versions of Superman. And my problem with all of them, even and the McFarlane one for sure, is they like make him extra ugly. It's like everybody who makes it went, oh yeah, Frank Miller didn't like Superman, so he made him ugly. I'm like, no, he didn't. He just made him bulky.
Yeah.
He wasn't butt-ass ugly in every toy. He is a butterface, and I don't know why. Like, oh, Frank Miller didn't like Superman, I better screw his face up. I don't know why Gary and Steve do that. But, man, I love this thing. I'm hard-pressed to think of a toy that's going to come out in the next 4 months that could top this guy. And if that is the case, he's probably going to be Toy of the Year, spoilers. Because, man, he is just...
Well, have you considered your 12-point system?
I have considered my 12-point system.
And still?
I haven't gone through every toy.
Okay.
But he is up there.
He should be.
He
deserves to be.
The only thing, like, yeah, he's expensive, but every Mafex figure is expensive, and he's not more expensive than the other ones. Like,
right, yeah.
He like, they didn't raise his price.
No.
So that's a good thing. But man, I love that cape. I love the posability. The posability is what, oh man. That's why the Mattel one was so disappointing, because he wasn't as, like, I have those He-Man guys. They're posable. They're very posable. They're great. But when you put that He-Man guy and then you put Batman armor on it, like, the range just... And the fact that, like, he's got multiple shades of gray, like his knees don't match his pants and his elbows don't... just... It's so good.
It is so good.
Done. Approved. Buy this toy. Buy 2 of them and paint one black and give it to me for my birthday.
It's an expensive repaint.
That is an expensive repaint. It's the exact opposite of your Marvel Legends hate.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Buy this toy.
Buy this toy. I might.
He's way better than I was hoping. Had they not included the trigger hand, I might not have gone, oh man, he has a gun and a knife, but they did. And
they did.
So, you know somewhere they're sculpted by them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's just bullshit. Angry sauce. Buy this toy, right?
Yeah, buy this toy.
Buy this toy. Thanks.